someone coming off the pill or another contraception could have polycystic ovaries for a temporary period of time, whereas polycystic ovaries is an actual condition diagnosed. For that, you'd have to meet the Rotterdam criteria and have 2 out of the 3 at least of their criteria, which are polycystic ovaries, irregular cycles, or high androgen count. To have that tested can be a bit of a battle within the NHS. It's absolutely possible to get that tested under the NHS. You just need a supportive GP. So if your GP is not being supportive with that, then I would definitely recommend you get a second opinion and to fight for it as well, because it's not hard to get those things tested. You already will know if your cycle's regular, so that one's already ticked off, and you can have an ultrasound to find out about the polycystic ovaries, and you can have a blood test to find out about your androgen count, so it's actually not that hard to be done.
I would never do PE. I would avoid that like the plague. Even if I wasn't on my period at the time, I would just never do it because I just didn't feel comfortable, just in case. I just never felt happy doing that. And then there were times when there would be swimming and things like that, and there's no way I was going to do that.
Started my periods when I was 13, and then probably when I was about 17, they started to sort of become a bit sketchy. I'd have one, then 3 months later I'd have another one, but that one might be 6 weeks long, or and then none. And then, as I say, as I got older, they started to get worse to the point where I'd pass out, I'd feel sick, the pain in my stomach I'd bloat like I'd eaten a beach ball. It was just horrible, but it was frustrating because nobody had listened until that point. That man got me the scan. Nobody had listened.
I remember having to go to a school nurse and say, I need to call my mum, because they didn't want you on your phone and stuff like that. And I thought, I'll do it properly, and I'll go and ask. And they were like, oh, why? And I'm like, please, I need to call my mum. And they couldn't get hold of her. So I was like, right, I need knickers, I need pads and things. They're like, oh, I can give you pads. I was like, no, I need knickers. And it turned out she was on the phone to my grandmother or something. But and I was like, I'm leaving to go. I was like, I'm not sitting here like this. You can't, expect me to do this. And eventually they did it. They actually drove me home to get knickers and take me back to school.
It was like they didn't believe there was something wrong. And your own body, when there's something wrong. And it was like they didn't believe me, like I was just moaning because I didn't want periods and stuff like that. And it was like, no, there is something, this can't be normal. My friends don't faint every time they have a period. My friends don't cry in agony every time they have a period.
There hadn't really been many issues in the beginning when I was a teenager, still mid-teens, other than sort of erratic periods, but I did go on contraception pretty much straight away, primarily to help regulate periods.
Because they became so erratic, I never knew when I was going to get one. So some people might know roughly, oh, this week I'm due on. Yeah, I might go 6 months without having one, and then bang, I could be in the middle of, a swimming pool, and it wasn't just, oh, there's a little show. It was full on, and it was, yeah.
It's very difficult. I've had to have sort of be in the toilet and been out with my mum and be like, text her, Mum, can you please go into Debenhams and get me some pants? And that's just us. I mean, obviously it's my mum, it's not an issue there, but it's just embarrassing. It's horrible, and
you can't just go out somewhere. You've got to be prepared all the time because you didn't know when it was going to happen. The pads had a bag full of painkillers, and it was obviously driving and stuff like that, to be careful, because if you knew you were going to be driving, you're going to pass out, you can't be doing that. So you're constantly having to plan what you're going to do, where you're going, and things like that, which was it's just become a normal part of life now. But I don't have periods anymore. They put me on medication to stop it purely because I just couldn't take the nonsense of it anymore. I had enough. But yeah, their main thing was obviously you could struggle to have children. It's not impossible, but you could struggle. And then they just listed all the other side effects, which when they went through the side effects of having this condition, they never tell you how bad it's going to be. And I know everybody is different.
I've been quite lucky in a way. I don't suffer with sort of lots of excess hair growth in random areas, things like that. But symptoms have become more evident in that hormone changes are constant. My periods are still quite erratic. And now I'm at a stage where I am trying to get pregnant. It makes it more difficult. It's not impossible, but for us, we have to go down the IVF route, and not everybody with PCOS obviously has to.
One of the things I struggle with the most, obviously I would have absolutely loved to have children, and I've got in my head, that's never going to happen, and I've dealt with that. It is still hard, but I have dealt with that. But, people take the mickey, even to some extent my family, because they don't really, because I always laugh it off. I don't think they understand how, there's only so many times you can stand and rip hairs out of your chin, and and they seem to grow so fast. It's like literally there's none there 1 minute, and then the next you got a full growth going on.
If you came to me as a reflexology client, so that would be someone who's one-to-one, we would look at using reflexology to help you ovulate, and we would use it to try and regulate your cycle to get you ovulating. If you were someone who was coming to me without that part of it, we would be looking at nutrition, diet and lifestyle and supplementation, how we can use those to support you to help reduce your chance of insulin resistance, to ensure that you have got the best optimal chance of ovulation naturally. So we would look at all of those factors.